This is Ben Davison. Subscribe to Stephen Icon.
So the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, WBC, lineal and of course two-time Ring Magazine heavyweight champion of the world, has finally responded to the madness of Deontay Wilder and his absolutely ludicrous claims as to why he lost the fight with Tyson Fury, other than the fact he got battered. Anyway, it's what Tyson Fury had to say, and he does go a little bit more in depth into it, and the full article is in the description box, but this is it in a brief snippet. I think Wilder's lost his marbles. First it was a suit, then it was a bicep injury, then his trainer was on our team, then the referee was against him, then I had weights in my gloves, now somebody spiked his water. So that's pretty much it for Tyson Fury's statement. But as I said, there's a little bit more to it. Now, what Wilder's been saying here, it's not like he's just pulled out one excuse. He's pulled out multiple excuses. And all of these things happened, which is a virtual impossibility for all of these things to have happened. But they did. Wilder must be the most unlucky fighter on the planet, and Tyson Fury must have some deep, deep connections to have got away with all of these things. Every single one of them. Tyson Fury has got away with all of them. Come on now, Wilder, stop it. Now, to say it was a suit, well, he said that the suit was about £40 or £46, whatever it was. It was very heavy, and he felt like his legs were weak when he got to the ring. Okay, well, first things first, you chose the suit, so that's your fault. Second of all, the manufacturers who made this suit said that it was actually, was it £26? I think that they quoted before they quickly removed their post. Was it £26? Anyway, even if it wasn't, even if it was £40 odd pound, you told Joe Rogan that you quite regularly train with a £40 vest on, where you go running up hills and this, that and the other. But yet you can't walk from a changing room to a ring without affecting your legs. I mean, it doesn't surprise me he has the legs of a 12-year-old. Or some chickens or something, some sparrows' kneecaps. They are very, very painfully thin. But you chose the suit, and what, you didn't try that costume on before you walk to the ring with it? Is it anybody's fault but your own? The fact that you hired some guy to walk in front of you on a microphone where nobody on the planet understood a word of what that guy was saying, and it took about 10 minutes to get to the ring for a walk that could have taken 1 minute. But it's the suit's fault. Okay. I wonder what he's done with that suit. I bet he's kicked the living hell out of it and thrown it in the garbage, hasn't he? Anyway, it is what it is. But had he have said something along the lines of, well, it was my eyes. For the first couple of rounds, I couldn't see too clearly because when he got to the ring wearing this costume, the lights glowed up on his mask, didn't they? Where his eyes are. And when he took the mask off, he was rubbing his eyes a little bit. He didn't even use that one, which is probably the only credible one that he could have come out with, isn't it? If he had said, yeah, my eyes were hurting because of the lights in the eyes, when they glowed up, it hurt my eyes a little bit, and I couldn't see properly for like the first round or two. At this point, Tyson Fury, he's already landed a few good shots on me, and I couldn't really recover. It was my own fault. I shouldn't have worn that mask. That's probably the only legitimate one that he could have come out with, but he didn't even try that one. The bicep, well, Wilder's always in and out of surgery. As I said, this guy is probably so juiced up through recovery of different surgeries, and he's probably just juiced up to the gills with steroids, which is probably might explain why, if his water was spiked, that it never showed up in VADA, because he has some therapeutic use exemptions for recovery, so-called recovery, because he's so juiced up with steroids, right? Maybe. But bicep, hey, is what it is. Wilder's always having surgery. There's always some kind of surgery that he's having. It's the hand, it's the arm, it's the forearm, it's the shoulder, it's his left nut, it's his right butt cheek. There's always something wrong with Deontay Wilder. But this is just another one, yeah? Okay, good one. His trainer was on Tyson Fury's team. Why, oh why, would Tyson Fury's trainer, Mark Breland, be on his team? Why? Mark Breland, who's been with Deontay Wilder for 10, 12 years. Mark Breland, who has represented the United States of America and was an outstanding amateur, very, very patriotic, would take sides with a Brit that he doesn't really know over a guy that he's been in the corner with for 10, 12 years. Mark Breland would throw in the towel for what reason? Why? Because of his connections with Kronk. Way back when? What, in the 80s? Really? I don't think so. I really, really don't think so. Again, his link with Kronk would have been Manny Stewart. Manny Stewart, no longer with us. So what's that got to do with anything? Absolutely nothing. Just madness. Absolute ludicrous. The referee was against Deontay Wilder. Really, the same referee who every time Fury got close, the referee will be breaking it up. In fact, the referee even docked a point off Tyson Fury in that fight. But yeah, he's on Wilder's side, right? You sure about that? Sure. I mean, Tyson Fury, he was getting him in headlocks, he was leaning all over him, but he wasn't doing anything that other people don't do. It's not like Wilder never cheats in a fight. No, not at all. Landing his wrists at full force on the back of his opponent's head. No, of course not. No. Let's overlook that one and let's look at the fact that Tyson Fury was getting him in some kind of wrestling MMA headlocks and choke locks and whatever else, okay? Let's look at that. No, I didn't think so. But it just goes on and on and on, doesn't it? This is just typical of Deontay Wilder. The weights in the gloves. Now, had Tyson Fury had weights in his gloves, wouldn't that have been harder and more physically draining on Tyson Fury to be throwing punches when you've got weights in your hand, when you're holding on to them? Because originally it was that Tyson Fury had no padding. And then it was changed to, well, he's got a lot of padding in there, but there's quite something else in there, on the knuckles and that. And now it's gone to, well, Tyson Fury was holding an egg weight in the palm of his hand. Really? Okay. Somehow, if that was true, then Wilder, you have to blame not only Fury for doing that, and Fury's corner and everybody, who must have been in on it, because of course they wrapped his hands, but you have to be blaming the Nevada State Athletic Commission as well for allowing Fury to get away with this one, who the same people who oversaw him wrap his hands, the same people who are holding on to the gloves right up until the gloves were put onto Tyson Fury's hands, his wrapped hands, by the way, and then they taped up the wrist, and then they signed it off so it can't be tampered with. But the Nevada State Athletic Commission missed him putting these egg weights into his hand, or hands. Really? Are you sure about that? Not only that, your own manager, trainer, JD's, who has sat there watching the wraps being put on and the gloves being put on, again, he missed it too. And then when he walked to the ring, the referee is checking the gloves, as he does with all fighters, as all referees do with all fighters, checking the gloves front, backwards and sideways. Also didn't feel the egg weights. Really, of course. And then someone spiked his water, as I said. But why didn't it pop up in the VADA test? Unless, of course, you've got some kind of therapeutic use exemptions because you're a drug cheat. Maybe. Because as far as I'm aware, didn't VADA come out and say both fighters tested positive? Or, sorry, both fighters tested clean? But yet you had spiked water. Why didn't it show up? Either it didn't show up because there was nothing there, or it didn't show up because you've got therapeutic use exemptions. Which one is it, Wilder? You're shooting yourself in the foot, aren't you? Anyway, that's Tyson Fury's words, and he's absolutely correct. How can it be that every single one of these things have to have happened? The referee must have been in on it. The Nevada State Athletic Commission must have been on it. His own trainer, manager, JD's, who's still employed by Wilder, by the way, must have been in on it. Everybody was in on it. Stupidity. And if anybody out there is actually believing Wilder, you're an idiot too. You must be an idiot. How can all of these things have happened? If he had said one thing, I think my water was spiked because I felt funny after I drank some water. Okay, it's pretty stupid, but at least it's just one thing, not all these things. And it kind of makes me wonder, what else are they going to come out with? Who knows? Anyway, Tyson Fury statement. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all in the next video.